Let's discuss changes made in the Sales Tax Act of 1990. The amendment brought through the Finance Act, 2022 to treat transmission and distribution of electricity as goods reverted in line with a recent consensus amongst the Federation and provinces for taxing the same as a service. Retailers of jewelry items and other retailers qualifying as Tier 1 retailers presently based on the shop's area brought out of the scope of Tier 1 retailers. Zero rating facility extended to the supply chain of the RECODIC project and local supplies of commodities to registered exporters under the Export Facilitation Scheme. Exemption withdrawn on various edible goods sold under a brand name including red chilies, ginger, turmeric, yogurt, butter, meat, and meat offal regardless of their packaging. The exemption provided on the import or supply of specified items, including contraceptives, bovine semen, saplings, combined harvesters, agricultural dryers, planters, and certain goods for software exporters. Expansion in the scope of existing reduced rating of 1% to medicaments falling under Chapter 30 of the Customs Act, 1969, excluding specific items, with retrospective effect from July 1, 2022. Extension in sales tax exemption to FATA/PATA till June 30, 2024. Increase in sales tax rate from 12% to 15% on finished articles of textile and leather supplied by the POS integrated retailers. Let's discuss Customs Act, 1969. Municipal limits being within the territorial jurisdiction of Pakistan, assigned to customs authorities for conducting anti-smuggling operations. Provincial levies and Kasada are forced to assist customs authorities whenever requested. Extension of infield exemption notifications issued on or after the first day of July 2016, up to June 30, 2024. The Director of Customs Intelligence consults international publications in assigning the values of goods to be imported or exported. Warehousing period for perishable items to be enhanced from 1 month to 3 months. Passengers traveling in groups can now file their baggage declarations through representatives. The penalty imposed on failure to place documents with the consignment to be withdrawn. Penalty in respect of failure to upload documents with the goods declaration is capped to the upper limit of Rs. 50,000. Lower limits for penalties have been prescribed to deter smuggling and evasion of duty/taxes. Option for online adjudication through customs computerized systems to be provided. The usage spectrum of confiscated items enhanced to any item/equipment deemed useful in anti-smuggling operations. Transfer of ongoing cases to different field formations to be allowed for achieving merit. Classification of orders passed by the Chief Collector of Customs as appellate and quasi-judicial orders, enabling appeals before the appellate tribunal to make it aligned with the Kyoto Convention. Persons qualifying as compliant taxpayers per the FIBER shall be able to self-file their goods declarations. Applicability of certain notifications from the scope of advance rulings has been excluded. Exemption of CD to be provided on certain items on inputs of Holy Quran printing, solar panel manufacturing, diapers, sanitary napkins, adhesive tape, organic composite solvent and thinners, molds and dyes, mining machinery, rice mill machinery, machine tools, seeds for sowing, shrimp/prawns/juveniles for breeding and roasted peanuts for rusk manufacturing. One additional active pharmaceutical ingredient, API, and 3 drugs are to be included in the existing duty-free regime. Customs duty was withdrawn on the import of IT-related equipment for exporters of IT and IT-enabled services to the extent of 1% of their export proceeds. Reduction of customs duties on intermediary/industrial inputs falling under specific codes. Customs duty concession provided on raw materials/inputs for capacitor manufacturers. Customs duty reduced on non-localized CKD and heavy commercial vehicles from 10% to 5%. As per salient features, ACD exemption is to be provided on raw materials for hemodulator fluid/powder. Exemption on import of machinery and equipment for erstwhile FATA areas extended until June 2024. Customs duty concession on import of flavoring powders for snack manufacturers to be extended till June 2024. Customs duty reduction on import of PET scrap for polyester filament yarn manufacturers. Part 5 of the 5th Schedule of the Customs Act to be streamlined with the Auto Industry Development and Export Policy, ADEP, 2021-26. Enhancement of customs duty on calcium carbides from 3% to 11% to safeguard the local industry. As per salient features, regulatory duty, RD, is to be abolished on second-hand clothing to provide relief to the destitute. Various products including second-hand clothing, fish, tiles, and sports goods. IT-related equipment. Synthetic filament yarn of polyester. Parts for flat panels, monitors, and projectors. Silicon steel sheets. Special steel round bars and rods. As per salient features, export RD is to be enhanced on molasses from 10% to 15%. RD to be enhanced on articles of glass to protect local industries. RD on tungsten filament incandescent bulbs to be levied at 20%. Introduction of new PCT codes for smartwatches and wooden splint of matches. As per salient features, capping of the fixed duties and taxes on the import of old and used vehicles of Asian makes above 1,300 cc, to be withdrawn. Let's discuss federal excise duty. Fed levied Rs. 2,000 per fan on energy inefficient fans and 20% ad valorem on incandescent bulbs. Fee for technical services and royalties specifically included in Schedule of Dutiable Services. Exemption from Fed on the entire supply chain of the RECODIC project under the Foreign Investment, Promotion and Protection Act, 2022. Let's discuss Islamabad Capital Territory, Tax on Services, Ordinance, 2001. Freelance exporters of IT and IT-enabled services exempt from registration requirements, subject to their annual turnover capped at 8 million rupees. Zero rating facility for taxable services provided for RECODIC project. Services of restaurants, cafes, and similar food outlets are subjected to a 5% sales tax rate when payments are made through debit/credit cards, mobile wallets, or QR scanning. Introduction of 15% service sales tax on electric power transmission services. IT services and IT-enabled services again made chargeable to sales tax at a reduced rate of 5% with no input admissibility. The rate of sales tax on services of IT-based system development consultants reduced from 16% to 15%. This is all for today's video. I will discuss the above-mentioned amendments in detail in my next video. If you like my video, please subscribe and like the button. Thank you for watching.